Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm joined by Fantasy Football Scout Deputy Editor Tom Freeman, who will be revealing his Gameweek 37 team. A striker from his own team, Aston Villa, tops his shopping list, but a mid-priced midfield move could be on the cards too. Welcome, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Joe. Not long to go now, is there? We've only got a couple of game weeks, so probably two or three transfers, something like that. Still got the triple captainship to play, but I'm probably going to hold that for 38. But looking forward to it.
Excellent stuff. Before we have a look, see how he got on in Game Week 36, just a reminder, do press that like button, does help us out. And do remember to subscribe, keep updated with our latest videos and podcasts. And do check out fantasyfootballscout.co.uk for membership offers, especially during this long summer break. All the access to all the stats for all the players that you may or may not want to bring in next season. Okay, let's have a look, see how you got on. So, yeah, small green arrow, 58 points. Eze was your star here. Do you want to just quickly take us through your team? And it says you made a transfer. So who was that for?
Yeah, I mean, Eze has been kind of really performing recently and has really
Yeah.
helped with the Green Arrows. I had Raya in goal, who got 2 points. Verbruggen on the bench, which was a bit frustrating. It was a real 50-50 between Raya and Verbruggen and who to start. And because I'd benched Saliba, I thought maybe I'll, just in case Arsenal and Liverpool was a
Yeah.
close affair, low scoring, I thought I'd go for him, but lost out there. The defence did better. I've obviously got that double Man City clean sheet there with Diaz with 9 and Guardiola with 6. And then Cucurella just got the one. He was originally on my bench. I did start Trippier.
Okay.
He obviously didn't play, so missed out on the clean sheet there. Midfield and Bomo captained him. He got 12, just the assist. Sarr got the assist for 6. Eze got the brace for 16, and Saka just 2. And the forward line was pretty underwhelming. Isak to Wissa, who was my transfer in
Okay.
for Mamouche.
Okay.
Once we got that team news filtering through, I made
Yeah.
that move. And then finally Mateta
Yeah.
with just that 1 point as well and hooked early. So he's on the chopping block now for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a familiar theme for when I was doing the FPL Generals video this week, in that a lot of the heavy hitters, irrespective of price, but those that you expect to do well, your Isak, Saka, Salah in my case, De Bruyne in my case as well.
Haaland as well,
Those that brought
obviously.
Haaland in, Wissa as well. I brought him in as well for Marmouche. Mateta, you would expect to do better. Yeah, they're just not performing. Meanwhile, Eze, Sarr, even Sarr's getting points. Brian Mbomo's ticking along, Bowen as well. So
Yeah.
it does indicate that we perhaps should be focusing a bit our captaincy elsewhere, rather than the likes of Haaland and Salah and Saka, etc., and some of these other players. But it also just shows how one or two players can be all the difference. So
Yeah.
I was about 16 points fewer than you this week, and the difference is I don't have Eze.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
though, and I was, and then others were about 10 points up on you because they have maybe Munoz as well as Eze, and so on and so on. So these are
Exactly.
huge swings, really,
Yeah, and it's
from one or two
often down to
players.
the makeup of a Palace triple up and a
Yeah,
decision you probably made 4 or 5 weeks ago ahead of
exactly.
that double.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been very swingy, hasn't it? But I mean, I was kind of on the right side of it with Eze. It would have been
Yeah.
nice to have Munoz as well, but I think I'll take
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely.
It's a small green arrow.
Yeah.
I think I'm about 20 something points off the top 50k. And so that's got to be the target now for the
Yeah.
last couple of game weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll reach those heights, but I'll look to that. And maybe if I can land a good triple captain, we can have a good finish.
Yeah, I'm about 10 points or so off you,
It's close, isn't
and
it? Yeah.
114k. So my target is definitely top 100k, and see if
Yeah.
I can get to that. But I'm going to need a couple of strong-ish game weeks, and we're running out of game weeks really. So
We are.
interesting thing we did on FPL General show where he, in the last 20 game weeks, game week 16 through to game week 36, 20 game weeks, he's moved nowhere.
Yeah, I've seen him put up a couple of posts on X, and he's
Yeah.
about is he about 25k?
About
And it's
25k, which is a
something
great
that's
rank to
gone up.
be at, but he's
It
maintained
is.
it all that
Yes.
time and barely gone up or down because I do the videos with him each week. It's not like, I mean, I've been going from, I was, well, 10 weeks ago, I was about nearly 278k, 300k, something like
Yeah.
that. You've been around
Yeah.
that as well. So
Yeah.
we've been quite swingy for you and I, but FPL General, it's just like
It's been,
25k. It's easier to
yeah, I
do
mean,
the videos for
it's
him, eh?
that isn't even just holding rank though around there. It's not a bad thing
No,
at all.
I don't think
He
so.
obviously would have probably looked at that back then and thought, well, I can get a top 10k here. I can
Yeah,
really
yeah.
kind of kick on, but it's difficult. And maybe just maintaining rank and a top 25k finish these days is obviously a really, really solid
Yeah.
result, isn't it? I think if you offered most people that at the
Oh,
start of the season now, they would take it.
I mean, to
So
be honest, my dream is a grey hour every week. So if I was started
yeah,
game week 1 on 25k and
yeah,
ended game week 38
I'm
on
done.
25k, that for me would be the best season ever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at some decisions you've got. So one of the decisions you're looking at is bringing in Watkins because you've got about 3 million in the bank. So presumably
I
Mateta to
have.
Watkins is just a no-brainer.
Yeah, I've got 3.4 million in the bank, so I've always had that move penciled in this week. There's loads. We probably don't need to go into that much detail about it, but Watkins, he plays Spurs
Yeah,
on Friday.
exactly.
They're in the Europa League 5 days later. They play with a high line. I think they're gonna play a stronger team on Friday. That
Yeah,
was what Ange Postecoglou hinted at over the weekend to try and get them some rhythm before the final. But even so, I think even a strong Tottenham side,
yeah,
given how important this game is for Villa
yeah,
with the Champions League qualification up for grabs,
yeah.
um, Friday night at Villa Park, a sellout last home game of the season. I think he could be my captain
Okay, yeah.
come Friday. But
Yeah,
there's obviously a decision to be made, which is why we're going to talk about midfielders now.
yeah. So yeah, I'm going to do the same move as well. I've got enough money to do Mateta to Watkins and captain him. I don't really have a viable captain this week, and
So yeah.
that would make me have a captain. And
Mm.
yeah, you can do that with no hit.
Yeah.
Seems important. But yes, what you could do is you could take a hit and you could improve your midfield. So even though Eze's been fantastic, he does have a game a few days after the FA Cup final, and then he
Yeah.
faces Liverpool in game week 38. Similarly with Sarr, so you could even remove Sarr. I know other people are thinking of that. Morgan Rogers could be good for that, for those that can't get
Yeah.
to Watkins, perhaps.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. I think
nevertheless, so yeah,
just to jump in quickly, Joe. I mean, I think the concern, like you say, is they play the FA Cup final on Saturday and then
yeah,
they play against Wolves on the
okay,
Tuesday. I did speak to Neil about this yesterday. Obviously, he's the probably the best person to ask in these situations, and he was, he said that Glasgow he tends to go strong even in busy periods most of the time, and of course it's Palace's final home match
yeah,
as well on Tuesday. So I came out of that conversation feeling a little bit more confident. Eze at home in his final home match of the season against Wolves, it's not a bad fixture, but I think I need to have an alternative plan in mind just in case Glasner were to say something in
yeah,
his FA Cup presser or something
yeah,
I need to have somebody in place as a possible replacement, but it would be for a hit. So I need to kind of really think that one through. But
okay,
there's loads of appealing midfielders
okay.
I like, so finding a replacement won't be a problem.
Okay, well, I've got a table of midfielders, so this is useful for you, but it's also useful for those who perhaps don't want to make a forward change. Perhaps they've already got
Yeah,
Watkins and are indeed looking for some kind of midfield move. So what I've done is I've done for the last 4 matches, and it's mid-priced midfield options. So it's hovering around that sort of Eze Sarr mark. And so all the players I've got, I think, are between 5.2 is the lowest, and 7.7
7
is the
for
highest.
Bowen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And I could have gone out higher for you because you would have more to spend. But to be honest, they didn't. There were none that actually had the minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty. So I stuck with what I've got.
Yeah, and I think I'm probably more likely to sell Sarr just because if I do need a Palace midfielder away at Liverpool on
Yeah.
the last day, you'd probably prefer Eze, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
So
definitely. I think so. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm happy to bench Sarr this week. He's just my
yeah,
first sub,
yeah,
and
makes
I'm
sense.
happy to ditch Mateta because
Yeah,
that's just not working out.
Yeah.
So top of the list is Diaz at Liverpool. What's interesting, I've kept Salah. He's not my weakest link, but Diaz is performing much better. He's only 7.5. His minutes of expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 87 minutes because he's got 3 goals in his last 4 matches. He's in 17% of teams overall, 8 chances created, 9 shots inside the box. It's him, not Salah, that's been the star. I do wonder whether he's going to start the next 2 matches, but nevertheless, for those that go for him, he's rewarded them so far.
Yeah, he's ticking along really nicely. I think he's returned in 7 of his last 8 games, either a goal or assist. So if you have invested in him, you've probably done really, really well. My only concern, and you mentioned it then, Joe, is that the focus of Liverpool now that they've wrapped up the league, how strong a team will they put out against Brighton? I think Arne Slot's in Ibiza at the moment, isn't he? I saw a picture over the last 24 hours, which tells you everything. How seriously they're going to really take this game at Brighton. He did say after the game at the weekend, he said, we're going to be up for the Palace game on the last game of the season. He didn't talk about Brighton, and that makes me think, are we going to see more rotation here? Are we going to see the Harvey Elliott's kind of play? And potentially Darwin Núñez or something like that. So that's why I'm not going to go there. But for sure, if you've had Diaz over the past few weeks, he's been amazing. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Salah will start both of the games. He's still going for this record.
He is,
and he doesn't seem to like being dropped. I mean, it's not up to him, but there's no reason to drop him, I think. But you can certainly rotate some of the others. Next name on the list is Sarr himself, who you might remove. So other people are looking to remove. I'm going to bench him. But he's actually been really strong. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty over 105 minutes. He was cruelly denied a goal at the weekend because Mateta's hand was offside, which is very annoying. Shots inside the box, 8. And he's got that 1 assist and he's 7 chances created. But just that 1 assist is what masks the fact that he could have got so much more. So this is why I'm quite keen to keep him. But I can definitely understand if you to remove him at the moment.
It's just the timing of the game. If it was a Saturday match against Wolves, I'd play any of the Palace midfielders, no problem. It's just whether I've got concerns about minutes. I mean, that game could go to extra time on Saturday, couldn't it? And if they were to get 120 minutes and penalties, how many minutes is he going to play against Wolves? That's the question.
Now, I was reading a good article on Fantasy Football Scout this week. I don't know whether it was by you or Neil, but it was about matchups this week. Was that you?
It was.
Excellent. So you are usually the matchup man. And it was good to see Matoma getting a mention because you highlighted some frailties on the right-hand side for Liverpool, and especially if they are going to rotate a bit in this one. Meanwhile, Matoma is come back from injury, hopefully. So he should start this one. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 113 minutes. So he's the 3rd best on this list. He's only in 6% of teams. That's overall. He's only created 1 chance, but he's had 4 shots inside the box. But we know what he can do against a weak right-hand side. I've seen it in the flesh against Liverpool. Watching Matoma, it was poor Alexander-Arnold, who's perhaps Real Madrid bound, but he was run ragged by Matoma that match.
Yeah, I think I wanted to speak to you about him, Joe, because obviously he didn't play at the weekend, but he's coming back he's building up his fitness, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you would hope with another week's training, he'd be ready to go.
The annoying thing about the manager is that when a player has a problem, an injury or something they're nursing, sometimes you know about it. I mean, we sort of alerted to this one, but you don't know how serious it is. And sometimes a player can just not be out. Sometimes you can get to because I have to guess the matchday squad for social media, and you get to the squad announcement and you think, where's that player? He's out for the season. He's just had surgery. And so there's always that risk, but I do think Matoma, Welbeck, and you can take your pick actually, but I mean Minte, but also Dingra I think has been pretty good.
Pedro's back, isn't he?
And Pedro should be back as well. So I don't know whether Pedro will start immediately. But he would definitely come on. But I think Matoma is an interesting differential for the last 2 because they play. Who's it? They play Spurs.
Well, that's it. And we were looking at it yesterday. And Connor Bradley, who firstly I think is a really good player, but he's a very different fullback to Alexander Arnold.
Yeah.
He's a bit more gung ho, isn't he?
Hmm.
And he can leave gaps in behind. And I think defensively, I think Trossard at the weekend when he moved to the left asked quite a few questions. I think he's had a tough time against
Yeah.
Mavididi recently.
Hmm.
And so it just kind of thought when you've got Matoma, a player who's probably, great one-on-one, great dribbler. And then after that, he goes to Spurs a few days after the Europa League final, where they could have a hangover from
Yeah.
that. And I think, it's hard to look at those two fixtures and kind of think, yeah, he's the player I'm going to go for,
Yeah.
because Liverpool and Spurs are certainly Liverpool's case is a tricky matchup. But I do think that it wouldn't surprise me if he returned in both of those games. So as a differential, I really like it.
Next name, Kevin Schade, or Sade, as I like to call him. 5.2 for Brentford. He's been the star there. 35 FPL points in the last 4 matches. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 124 minutes. 4 goals over this time. I mean, Brian Mbomo is still good. Vissa's still good and still putting up the stats. But Kevin Schade has been the one. I think he is an absolutely good asset to get in, because the last 2, he's got Fulham next, and then he's got Wolves away. So he's perfectly valid to bring in if you wanted a Saar replacement. 5.2.
Yeah, definitely. I'm too stacked with Brentford with Mbomo and Wissa already. I wouldn't want to go triple. But Neil did some interesting analysis over the weekend, saying how much Fulham have struggled with set pieces recently. And Kevin Schade is obviously he's very good in the air. He scored at the weekend. He headed in Mbomo's corner. So that could be like a really nice matchup for him. Like I say, I don't want to go there because I don't want to put too many eggs in that Brentford basket, but decent option.
Eze's next on the list. You've already got him in, but it just highlights how good he's been. 36 FPL points in the last 4 matches. Absolutely fantastic. 4 goals. Just from 6 shots inside the box, though. 4 on target. Yeah. So he's been overperforming, but nevertheless, it's just that you question that start as well. So I think if I was you, I would probably try and keep him. But he's really good.
I think he probably will play that Wolves game, but it's just how much the cup final takes out of them. Imagine if they win that on Saturday, the celebrations. They're not going to be on it on Tuesday night, are they? No. And that's the concern.
Because they could easily win it as well.
Yeah, they could.
On their day. Next name is Szoboszlai as well. So once again, rotation fears with Liverpool, but he's been performing pretty well. 18 points in the last 4 matches from cost of 6 million or so. He created 12 chances, so he's been by far on the list the most creative midfielder. I don't think he's a bad option as well, especially for that final game, Gameweek 38.
Yeah, he got an assist at the weekend, didn't he, against Arsenal? It's just, again, how much will slot rotate this weekend? And that's why I probably wouldn't feel that confident unless he comes out in his presser and says he's going to start. Might be a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah. Next name is Trossard. I actually don't mind him for this week because I think he should be playing up front because Mourinho's suspended. And he's been performing pretty okay, really. He's only got that, so he's got that 1 assist, but he's also got 3 goals. So 4 attacking returns in 4 matches, which is why his minutes expected goal involvement non-penalty is so high at 145. He's had 10 shots inside the box. I mean, if I was going to go for a punt for Arsenal in Gameweek 30, I mean, you've got Saka already. I can't get to Saka if I make that Watkins move, but I think that may be a sort of slight blessing in disguise because it gives a chance to go for someone like Trossard perhaps against Southampton in Gameweek 38.
Yeah, I owned him for quite a while. Not so long ago, as soon as Saka got injured, I bought Trossard in and he did very, very little. I think he got an assist against Leicester, but probably 7 game weeks. I took him out and then he went pretty crazy and did some really good stuff. I mean, Newcastle at home, they need a point from that, I think, Arsenal, don't they, to get Champions League. And then it's that Southampton game. Mourinho, you'd expect him to come back in for that, as he's not going to play this weekend. Would Trossard start then? Well, he might do if Mourinho plays in midfield. But, I don't dislike it. He's doing well at the moment.
Next name is the guy that I'm targeting, and actually targeting for the armband in Gameweek 38 because he plays Ipswich.
Yeah.
As Bowen. He's got 36 points in the last 4 matches, which is huge. He's got 3 goals, 2 assists. He's got 5 attacking returns in his last 4 matches. That's just vast.
Yeah.
Overperforming, perhaps, only 7 shots inside the box. But nevertheless, he is the talisman for West Ham, the clear one. As soon as West Ham score, you think it's going to be him. And possibly assisted by Wan-Bissaka as well. So, he would be the one I would bring in if you were going to just get a good player for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's just doing, like you say, you get a goal alert from West Ham, and I think his goal involvement under Potter is over 70% or something
huge,
ridiculous. Yeah. So, and I think Forest at home is a good fixture because they've got to win that Forest now, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's out of their hands, but they've got to go for it. So, I think he's probably in the top 3 options as a replacement.
Next name is Martinelli, another Arsenal option, another Arsenal differential, only in 3% of teams, but he's got a couple of goals his last 2. He always looks good. I mean, I remember getting it game a couple of years ago in my team, and it was just that move he does. He comes down, goes right the way down to the goal line, and then suddenly comes back in and either scores or puts in a killer pass.
Yeah.
So, and he's sort of doing that again now.
Yeah, he's the master of hitting the byline, isn't he?
Oh my God, he goes down there and he comes back out again.
Yeah, Amazing. He's so quick as well. And when he's at the top of his game, he's a really great player, and we probably haven't seen that enough of him over the past couple of seasons. But again, I mean, if he starts against Southampton in game week 38, I mean, what a great fixture for him there.
Yeah,
so
that's a tempter.
Again, it's just with that Newcastle home game, how do I see that playing out at the weekend? And it's a big match for both of them. So I'm not sure whether an Arsenal midfielder, because I've already got Saka as well, Joe. So do I want to double up on the midfield for a home match against Newcastle? I'm not sure.
Okay, final name, Rodgers. I think for those who've looking to remove Sarr and can't get to Watkins or already got him, Rodgers looks pretty much a no-brainer move.
I think so.
I mean, you obviously compile the stats for the articles and stuff each week. I compile these stats each week for the videos. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 209 minutes. While it's not as good as some of the others on here, that's actually good for Rodgers because he's usually a bit more than that. And because he's created 7 chances, 3 shots inside the box, and he's had a couple of assists in his last 4 matches. I hopefully get good things from him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that Spurs matchup's great for him. He's caused them loads of problems in the FA Cup game earlier this season. He's great at playing through balls. He'll be looking for Watkins throughout that match. He's got Man United away on the last day of the season, who were playing Europa a few days before. So I think the 2 fixtures for Villa, if you look on the ticker, Villa are going to be low down, but they actually should be much, much higher when you look at the context around the teams they're playing. I already own Asensio. I'm going to own Watkins as well, so I'm not going to go for Rodgers. I don't think Villa triple up, even for a fan, might be a bit too much in attack. But I do think he's great.
Okay. So. Let's move on to your team for next week because it's this can be quite quick because you pretty much explained all the things you're doing. You just quickly run through your team, what moves you might make, and who's going to go on the bench and who you're going to captain.
Yeah. So I've got Raya in goal at the moment, at home against Newcastle. Definitely play him. I've got the Man City double up again, Diaz and Guardiola at home to Bournemouth, and I've got Cucurella coming in for the home game against Man United. 5 across the middle at the moment. So I've got Saka against Newcastle, Mbomo, who's my bus team captain, home against Fulham, Asensio at home against Tottenham, who I'm confident will start with Ramsey suspended. And then I've got Sarr and Eze at home against Wolves. Isak away at Arsenal and Wissa at home to Fulham up front. And then on the bench, I've got Verbruggen, Mateta, Saliba, and a flagged Trippier.
Okay.
So Mateta to Watkins, Captain Watkins. He then will come off the bench for one of the 2 Palace, probably for Sarr.
Yeah.
And then it's whether or not I want to take out that Palace midfielder for a -4 to get a different midfield option. We mentioned loads then. I also think Neto could be nice if he's playing up front this week in the absence of Jackson. Quite like McNeil at home against Southampton. I don't mind even El Canouse for Leicester at home against Ipswich in Vardy's last match. There's loads of midfielders this week I like, and because of that, I think I probably will make the the hit and the
Okay.
move, but
Okay.
the Mateta Watkins definite. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think if you didn't, Saliba as the first defender sub is. I mean,
yeah,
I'm fielding him.
yes. Do you have
And
Raya as well,
no,
or
I don't have Raya, so I'm going to play Henderson.
Henderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I think Saliba's pretty good, and so yeah. So just
I
just
did
to
think that.
just to
Yeah.
clarify, if you did make that hit, Saar would move to the bench.
Yeah, I would basically have the Palace midfielder
Yeah.
on the bench.
Yeah.
Watkins would obviously come in, and then whoever I bring in, if
Yeah.
that were to be Bowen,
Yeah.
if that were to be Matoma, I don't really feel I don't want to commit to a name because it's only Tuesday. I don't really know myself
No.
at the
No. No.
moment,
Yeah.
but it'll probably be a Bowen, a Matoma, or maybe one of those differentials I just mentioned them
Yeah.
because there's not long to go now, and
No.
maybe I want to go for a low owned pick, and then maybe on the video next week we can talk about triple captains because that's obviously going to be my big decision in 38. So,
Of course, yeah. So that's why you should feel confident about getting top 50k if you can, but
well,
certainly cementing top 100k.
I'm tempted to go a bit rogue with that and maybe try and get somebody which nobody even has and just go for it on the last day
Wow.
with triple captaincy.
Well, yeah,
So I'm
perhaps one of
quite,
those Arsenal midfielders, maybe.
yeah, exactly. Just somebody who, if they gets triple captain points and gets a double digit haul, you're getting 30 points
Yeah,
off
yeah, just go for
again.
that.
And not everybody, and somebody who people aren't going to captain, so
Yeah,
they're already getting double the points. And
yeah,
it's risky, but I think on the last day of the season, I might as well just go for it.
yeah. Well, good luck with that. Thanks a lot for joining me. Good luck with those decisions, especially that hit for a midfielder. And we'll see you again next week. Find out who you're going to triple captain for the finale of the season.
Yeah.
Take care. See you soon.
Thanks, Joe.